Hello! The other night I found myself watching Le Belle et la Bête, The Beauty and the Beast, a black and white French film from 1946. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. The special effects for its time, the costumes, and the loyalty to the fairy tale, as well as it is all in French. Ooh la la. As I was watching this, I was thinking of other Beauty and the Beast adaptations, how most of them are set in that fairy tale realm, 17th century, with costumes not really grounded in reality. There is one adaptation that's called Beast from 2011. I wouldn't really call that an adaptation because it was based off a story that was based off the fairy tale. And Alex Pettyfer, he wasn't beastie. He still looked very nice. You could still get it. So he's not really a beast, in my opinion. Why haven't we had a futuristic kind of adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, huh? Why? So I sat down for 10 minutes and these ideas started firing off in my little noggin. So I said, let me capture this before it runs away. So I sat down at my desk, started typing it out, and now 6 pages and a few hours later, I think I've got a nice rough draft. If I had all this money, if I had all this time to write a book and really flesh this out, or even make a TV series. This would be my interpretation of a sci-fi version of Beauty and the Beast. Let's go. We start with the father. He is alone in space, traveling back to Earth, which we will call Terra. The spaceship is small and a bit of an older model, but still functions well. The father had a business that did very well, interplanetary transport. But much like the oceans of Earth, this one particular fleet disappeared into the vastness of space. He is returning home to Terra because he heard that one of the ships made it. He went out to investigate what had happened and if he can salvage anything from this last ship. Sadly, nothing. The ship came back, but it was in tatters, crew gone, cargo gone. Don't know what happened, and he cannot salvage any money. So he returns home, back to Terra, empty-handed. In the solitude of space, the father is able to reflect on his situation and family. The father has 4 children, 3 boys and a daughter. He is also a widower whose wife died in childbirth while giving birth to their daughter named Belle. The father would like to get back to Terra as soon as possible, so he decides to take a shortcut through uncharted space. What a dad move. Traversing this new uncharted space, the father's taking note of what's around. He passes by one planet with a little kind of asteroid belt, like the formation of rings before they come up. Passes by there, and at that moment, at the middle point there, his ship goes, oopsies, you need to fix something. I don't know what yet, but you need to fix something, and the only way to fix it is to land somewhere to get it properly repaired to make it all the way back home to Terra. As the father is driving the spaceship, As the father is flying the spaceship down into this new planet, he does a scan of a good spot where he could land with no other animals, anything moving and alive, just plant and fauna and flora. Good, finds a spot there, lands the ship, one more scan just to make sure because he's on a strange planet and he's not like these silly space people that just rush out everywhere. All right, looks pretty good, he says. Okay, let's fix her. Puts on his suit, goes out, does the repairs with little markers. Think of pitch black, little markers, so if anything comes close, he's ready to hoo-ha, kill it, or get rid of it and save himself. Fixes up the ship, then goes back inside and goes, okay, we're good. He does another scan, this time a wider one, and goes, you know what? This is a new planet. I'm exploring uncharted space and nothing's living here. You know what? Let's explore and I'm taking notes of this area. What an opportune time to have a look at this planet, take back some samples and say, hey, I've explored some space. Can I please have some money for my research? We already know his predicament, so of course he's going to do that. The father goes out, little pack, to go explore, take photos, and take little samples of the flora and fauna back with him to Terra. As he's exploring, he's going, this is really good. He also notices that this particular planet, there's these pawpaw-looking fruits that are everywhere. A tree one might look like a palm tree, one might look like an oak, but there's these pawpaws that are just dotted around the whole place. And he goes, oh, okay, I wonder what that is. Maybe there's a connection of the plants and fauna, possibly, but he's not the scientist. He's just exploring, having a good old fun. Take some things here, take some things there, little samples. And he comes across a bush that catches his eye because it looks like a rose bush on Terra. He goes, oh, look at you, pretty thing. He decides just to have a little, he's got gloves on, decides to have a little touch of it. Oh, he gets a cut. It cuts through his outfit and he goes, oh my goodness, patches it up as quickly, but it has drawn blood and it's a drop of blood that's on this new fauna. He goes, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Okay. So he patches himself up and goes, he goes back to the ship, cleans himself up. There's nothing contaminated. It just cut and everything went out because the atmosphere works quite well. And he goes, that was really strange. But that did look like a rose. I could take it back to Earth and see what the researchers and scientists think about a possible connection between this particular planet and Terra. So patches himself up, goes back, takes some clippings of the roses, maybe 3 or 4 of them, encases them and brings them back to the ship. Ship's happy and ready to go because it's fully repaired. And then he lifts up back into orbit, back on his way to Terra. Before going home to Terra, you must go through the spaceport. The spaceport serves as planetary defense, security, and quarantine. I'm imagining ring world, but not that huge, not all the way around because the moon's in there, and not like Elysium where it's that ring and then kind of just out of the way. I'm imagining a half crescent space station, kind of a strip on the other side. The whole reason I'm thinking about that is the moon is big. It has this gravitational pull that helps with Earth's tides. You don't want to mess with that. So instead of having one big ball, you spread it out and have it at the opposite end of the moon. So it kind of serves as a counterbalance. Again, am I all that sciencey? No, I'm not. And to show this, I have my little diagram here. Earth is this squishy squish. That biscuit is the moon. And then this curly whirly, this twisted curly whirly, is the space station. So this is how it looks like. Do you like my special effects? Special effects. This is high budget stuff. I tell you what. Look at that. Father comes towards Terra territory. They say come to the spaceport. He sure does. He comes back saying, hey, I charted this new area of space and I brought back some samples from this new planet. How cool is that? And the scientists and researchers are like, that's really awesome. Great. Thanks for taking the initiative and doing that. Let's give you some money and give you some awards. Yay! The father and his family have had a wonderful change of situation. They're not burdened by the financial commitments they have. So with a little bit of money, he's being a bit more cautious now. And he's saying, okay, we have a little bit of money. Do you guys want to come out to the space station? Have a look what I brought back from my adventures. The kids are all going, yay. They're not young. They're old. Like they're teenagers going into adulthood. They're not babies. Coming in to check it out, having a look. For some reason, Belle gets drawn to the roses, has a closer look at it. She removes the protective gear from herself. Just have a look to have a smell. No one notices this because it's how stories work. And out of one of the roses, when she gets close enough, it squirts this green goop into her face. Eye, nose, a little bit in her mouth, and she goes, ah! Knocked out. Screen goes black. Nah, I'm just joking. She's fine. Belle is knocked out on the floor. People freak out and go, oh my goodness. She's scooped up, taken to the infirmary, looked after by the doctors who are suited up and then quarantined because that thing just, and she's knocked out. Whoa, we gotta be cautious here. So she's in there. She's only out for a couple hours and she wakes up and goes, whoa, what happened, right? And of course, she's surrounded by all these white suits going, oh boy. So they try to get the green goop. I'm saying green goop. Trying to get the green goop off to see what on earth that was. And also they're going to monitor Belle for a bit longer to see what that's going to do to her in a nice way. And if they can potentially fix her. But this is sci-fi, so we'll see how this goes. As Belle is being looked after by the doctors, the security team on the space station come in and go, what on earth? That was total breaking of protocol. That was crazy. That was dumb. We have so much paperwork to do. What's happening? No one can explain it. We can ask Belle. And so, of course, they kind of interrogate her through the glass. And then she goes, I don't know. It just came over me to do it. And they're going, don't do it again because there's cross-contamination and yell while she's in quarantine. And the father's in there trying to go, whoa, that's my daughter you're speaking to. Whoa, because that's his baby. That's his little daughter. Weeks go by. The sons are back on Terra working. The father is doing his best to say, what's happening to my daughter? You're kind of experimenting on her, which is... that's what the scientists are doing. But it's all in the name of science and research and trying to help the daughter. So a few weeks have gone by, and the scientists and doctors have noticed that her reflexes are a lot quicker, like a cat. She can see more. She can see colors on the spectrum that we can't even comprehend. And her hearing has got a lot better. So they've become more cautious when speaking within a certain range of her. They've also noticed that when they take DNA samples from Belle, that the longer this green goop has been in her, the more it's altering, refining herself, but also the harder it is for them to try and figure out how to tear it apart. It's like it's becoming part of it. They're finding it hard to differentiate between green goop stuff and human DNA stuff. They're getting a bit worried that they can't turn her or help her become a normal human again. That's all the good stuff that the researchers like. What the researchers and doctors do not like is they're seeing Belle deteriorate. She becomes weaker, more lethargic. She's becoming more gaunt and losing color in her skin. They're going, what on earth is going on? They'll look at the research that the father had brought back and said, let's change the chamber that she's in to fit the atmospheric conditions that were on that particular planet. They change it and she feels a lot better, and they go, oh, here we go. Her body, through that green goop, is altering the DNA to be more attuned to that particular planet. And for them to continue having her contained in here is quite a costly, quite a expensive process as well. Who's going to pay for that? The father? So the doctors and scientists decide to talk to them and say, hey, if we do this, you can stay here on the space station. You can't go back to Earth, though, because we don't know what happened to you. We still can't figure it out. We can't separate it, so we're going to keep you quarantined here. There is a strange and out there alternative, which is we'll put you in a spaceship and pop you over onto that planet to live while we figure out how to detach the green goop stuff from your DNA to make you human again, essentially. Father and daughter look at each other and have a chat with all the family and go, you know what, let's go with option number 2. As crazy as that is, can't afford to keep her at the space station in that compartment. And she won't be able to do anything. She'll be a prisoner, essentially. Might as well be on a planet researching, and they can communicate across these vast distances. They can still talk, but they won't be together. Very well, they say. Let's go back to the alien planet. Right, back on another spaceship, a newer one, a fancier one, with a crew, doctors and scientists, the father and Belle in her quarantine box. They travel 3 days from Terra to the planet where the rose came from to have her set up camp there. All right, spaceship arrives at the planet, goes into low Earth orbit, picking a nice spot for her. They say, this is a pretty good spot. We've scanned most of the planet. Crew goes down with her, but the crew are all suited up. They help set up her base and give her the provisions and then go, okay, all good. They go up into low Earth orbit, make sure that she can work everything on the planet, but she's got no costume, no protective gear, no respirator, because now she can breathe. Now she can be healthy in this new atmosphere. And they go, okay, you're all good. We'll keep in contact communication, because that's the one thing they can do is across the vastness of space, she can call them up, or now it's a little telescreen and say, hello everyone back home on Terra. So it's instantaneous communication. Great stuff. So they fly back. When I say they, I mean the ship, crew, doctors, dad, scientists, fly back after taking some more information and go back to Terra, leaving her on the planet by herself. Belle is now alone on this alien planet, but she is still in contact with the folks on Terra, chatting to them daily. They kind of give her a job to pick up some stuff, research, and send reports here and back, but she's got a lot more free time than when she was on Earth, and she can wander, so she's taking more time for reading books and practicing her eskrima as she's walking around and exploring the planet. And as she's walking around, she's followed. Now, she doesn't notice it, but of course the audience notices this tentacly, ethereal being that's just kind of watching her as she does, and takes particular notice of the eskrima practice. And interesting. This is an alien being, and this being we will call the Beast. The Beast. I've given you a hint. Few weeks go by, and the tentacly ethereal alien goes, you know what, I'm going to change into a humanoid form and say hello to Belle. I'm thinking more of when you got Odo from Deep Space Nine, how it kind of looks like that. Now it's mostly humanoid, but you tried. So the Beast, the alien, comes out and goes hello to her, freaks Belle out. She runs away, and the Beast goes, oh, okay, that failed, didn't it? So she runs away and hides, but she's so scared she does not tell Terra about this. So she's all scared, huddling, uh-oh, what's going on? And the Beast goes, well, now I've got to figure out how to communicate with this creature better. So he can't talk yet and hasn't really heard her speak because she's been alone. The Beast brings things like food, some clothing items, just kind of gifts, leaves it there for her at her base, and then just wanders away and leaves her to it. Familiarity breeds contempt, if you remember that Aesop tale. And she goes, okay, maybe it's not so much of a threat. And she's got company on the planet, finally. She still has not told Terra about it, so it's just her and the Beast hanging out for a little bit while on the planet. Some more time goes by. At this point, a couple weeks, she finally tells Terra that, hey, there's another humanoid life form here. And the scientists, doctors, and her dad freak out, going, oh my goodness, we did not plan for this. This planet was not meant to have any life forms. We didn't scan for it. Oh my gosh. But then Belle calms him down and says, it's okay, we're hanging out. I'm getting to know him. But, I don't think that's a threat or anything. And they go, okay, we trust you with this decision from Tara, we trust you with this. We want you to investigate this creature, all right? Investigate and report back to us. The Beast and Belle hang out a bit more. She finds out that the Beast is old, very old, and that he's on this planet purely protecting and looking after his family. She doesn't really know what that means. They're still trying to converse in a language they both can understand and communicate effectively, but she goes, okay, fair enough. You don't mean any ill attempt to me? And Beast goes, no, I don't. But I am looking for a mother queen. Not queen mother. He's looking for a mother queen. And Belle goes, don't know what that is, so I'm going to say respectfully, no, that's kind of crazy and we're just friends. I did pause to think at this point when this alien entity I said is old, because I'm going, well, it's old as its passage of time is different, right? If you've got a human who lives until 110 in this current time frame, whoa, that's crazy. But an alien entity, what does old mean? Does old mean 1,000 years? Several millennia? I don't know. With Belle and the Beast hanging out together a bit more, get more comfortable. She teaches him how to read and he can communicate a bit better through the reading and language exchange. She does find out indeed that this Beast is old, 40,000 years old, which even by their species is getting quite up there. But she finds out his story as to how he ended up on this planet. Turns out that with his herd as they were floating through space, he wanted to asexually reproduce, which his species can do, but they do not because it is considered quite vain. You've got your allocated time, and if you want to reproduce, you can do it, but with another being. If you wish to asexually produce, they see it as cloning and extending your life past its natural allocated time, which is just a big no-no in the tentacle ethereal alien realm. So they kick him out, like literally they go, and he gets flung across and landed on this planet. The Beast has been on this alien planet for a couple hundred years, and he has asexually produced offspring, but he cannot waken them. Remember those pawpaw fruits that were around everywhere? Yeah, that's his kids. They're in little sacks there. They're there, but they can't awaken. And he thinks that the smack from the herd that sent him onto this planet knocked something out of him or damaged him internally where he cannot awaken his children. And he's too weak to leave the planet, so he's a prisoner with his dead offspring. After Belle hears a story from the Beast, she goes, whoa, you have how many kids? And the Beast goes, I don't know, but let's go count them. They go for a planet-wide tour, and they're everywhere. It's like he's infested the planet with his offspring. And she goes, wow. This does get reported to Tara, but what is left out from Belle's report is the sheer amount. She only tells them what they can see through the monitor in her little hut, going, oh yeah, this is like 16 of them here. When it's really an infestation of the whole planet of his asexually produced offspring. Time jump, we're gonna go 2 years into the future where Belle and the Beast are still on that planet. She's made it really homey and really pretty, but still not left. So what's going on? We flip back over to Tara, and the scientists, doctors, and researchers are going, we got nothing. Ever since that green goop got into the orifices, we can't figure out how to detach it. It's stuck. They don't have the technology to rip it apart. So they're going, she might be stuck there forever. The doctors and researchers don't tell her that, and don't tell the father, but the father finds out and goes, oh no, he won't be able to get to see or hang with his daughter ever again. He gets really distraught and grief-stricken and becomes unwell through his mental anguish. The father is grief-stricken, asking God, why did you take my daughter, not me, for that rose? Why didn't you take me? As it turns out, if I ever get to this bit, when he was on the planet taking the rose, there were some whispers saying, we want you, we want you, we want you, we want you. He didn't hear, he doesn't take it. And when they were in that room with all those roses there, we want you, we want you. That's what happened. That's what enticed Belle to come closer to the roses. We want you, we want you, we want you. Gotcha. Ooh. Which makes the father even worse and becoming bedridden, very, very ill. Now, news of the father's illness not only makes it to Tara with Belle's brothers, but also to Belle, all those planets away. And she goes, oh no, I have to see my dad. I really have to see them. The Beast is unhappy, of course, at this. And he goes, well, you really want to go? And of course, Belle goes, yes, it's my dad. I want to see him. If he's unwell, I want to be there for him. So the Beast goes, well, okay, if you want to go, you can. Just promise to be back in a fortnight. Promise to be back in 2 weeks. Please, and I'll give you this technology to transport you from here to Tara a lot quicker than taking a spaceship here and back. And she goes, yes, I will be back in 2 weeks, and I'll use your stuff. Thank you, Beast, she says. Thank you. All right, says the beast, well, let me get you this technology to travel home a lot quicker. He takes her to this rock face, which has kind of been his home for the meantime. Lots of carvings, a few holes here and there, and a little circular area which you can put an arm in. He goes in there and starts to work the device, which to us human eyes look like he's just massaging a rock. He's just, ooh, massage time for you, rock. Rocky massage. Massages it, and he kind of reaches in, kind of floops in, brings out a glove. I'm calling back to the old legends here. Pulls out a glove, but it's not just a little glove, it's like all the way up here. So she puts it on, and with this glove, she can open it, and there's a map, a little holographic map of the immediate vicinity of the planet. She goes, oh great, I can choose it. All right, found Terra. She goes back to the guys and goes, hey Terra people, I'm coming back, I'll see you soon. And the doctors and researchers going, what? She goes, wait a minute. Puts in the coordinates, says, I want to go there, to the spaceport, clenches it to get it working, holds her hands close in. This clear goop comes out of the glove that's produced by it, covers her whole body to protect her and insulate her from the vastness of space. Then she's shot up and then boom, lands in the landing bay of the spaceport at Terra about 10 minutes later. It's a lot quicker than 3 days. Belle's hanging out there in the landing bay for spaceships, and the scientists and researchers are going, wow, that's pretty cool. You got here very quickly. Hey, what technology did you use? And she goes, oh, it's this glove. Here you go. You can borrow that. Can I see my dad? And they're going, whoa, quarantine. You just came from outer space with some weird technology, and you remember you're kind of turning into an alien? She goes, hold up. Let me give you some research to show that I'm cool. So it turns out the beast had got something together for the human researchers to look and understand, to show that she cannot contaminate anyone else. It's just contained within her. Even if she gets a cut or blood in that, it won't affect any other humans. And they go, all right, fair enough. We'll still do tests on you because we're responsible. We're not going to let you willy-nilly go on Earth. So clean you up, did the test, and they go, okay, good. Now you can go see your dad. She gets flown back down to Terra, where she sees her family, her brothers, their wives, and the dad. And the dad is overjoyed to see his daughter on Terra and in person. And he starts to feel immensely better almost instantaneously. Belle did say she would stay on Terra for 2 weeks. 6 weeks had passed, and the scientists were not going to remind her that she needed to go back because they were devouring this technology that she brought. It's just a glove. What is happening? They're looking at it, kind of tearing it apart, looking, going, oh, how are we going to do this? Having a good old time. At the end of the 6th week, she's getting fatigued, going, oh, I don't feel so good. 7th week, her health deteriorates a lot, and she goes, oh my gosh, I have to go back. I have to go back, or else I'm not going to survive here. Turns out that the scientists are not wanting to return the glove. They want to keep it. They haven't quite cracked it yet, but they feel like they're getting close. While the father, seeing his daughter struggle, becoming gaunt again, losing color and becoming weak, goes, I'm not going to let my daughter die. We can't help you on Terra. And it's just become a bit chaotic. So the dad, the brothers, and Belle go through a little rigmarole to steal back that glove for her to go back to the planet. Insert action scene. Wow, wow, wow. So the father and brothers are busy stealing the glove. Belle makes it from Terra to the spaceport. They meet on the spaceport. The dad and brothers give her the glove. She puts it on and goes, okay, I'm going to go back to my home alien planet. She gets back there, 10 minutes later, and goes, things are different. Things will seem a lot duller. Everything's kind of wilting. And she goes, what is happening? She comes back to try and find Beast, and she sees him there. He's laying. He's stuck. He's dying. She goes to the beast and goes, oh no, what's happened? And he goes, well, you're meant to come back in 2 weeks, but I think now stuff is too late, and I think I'm going to die. And she goes, no, you can't. What can I do to help you survive? What can I do to help you live? I don't want to lose you, beast. And the beast asks that question and says, will you be the mother queen? And she goes, yes, I will be the mother queen. How can I do that? And the beast goes, oh, good. Thanks for telling me on my deathbed. Thanks. Rock face machine that he massaged earlier. He goes, yeah, if you go there, there's this kind of hole in there. You have to stick your arm into it, and it'll go through a little process, but you'll become the mother queen. Got it, she says. Now that Belle has officially said yes to become mother queen to the beast, she goes off to the rock face machine, looks around for this particular hole that the beast referred her to. She found it and went, okay, here we go. She inserts her hand, it takes her in, then a flash is done. She sees that her skin is splitting from her wrist, upper forearm, across the upper arm, across the front deltoid, across her neck, where she starts bleeding profusely. The blood that lands in the machine is instantaneously absorbed. Any blood that lands onto the ground of the planet, those wispy tentacles, very similar to what the beast was before, gets the blood and drags it in. Belle's arm is stuck in the machine. She's there, cut, bleeding out. Then the tentacles, very similar to that wispy ethereal one, are crawling up and into the crevices that she's been cut open with. And it's going in her. She's cut there, just bleeding profusely, slowly dying. The tentacles go in and kind of hold her up. So she's losing consciousness, but the tentacles are going up and like kind of keeping her propped up like a puppet, trying to get her up. And she's like, whoa, up, dying, seriously dying here. The tentacles are going in to revive her. The tentacles we also see are crawling out to the body of the beast and start to go all on him and revive him. These tentacles are going everywhere across the planet. They're reaching out towards all of those paw-shaped fruits that are found throughout the planet, that reach out, go up and around. And once this happens, the skin of those fruits, or sex, becomes translucent, and you get to see within the little wriggling little beings, little wispy tentacly aliens wriggling around. They're alive now, thanks to Belle's blood infused with that machine. Quite quickly, they're able to revive all of those asexually produced beast offspring. The baby aliens come out of their cocoons, imagine just a flop, and I mean, they're not fully grown, so they kind of roll, crawl, or flop, and they head towards the Belle and the beast. At this point of the story, Belle realizes that the beast had another reason for not leaving the planet. He was sustaining not only his life, but the life of his offspring. And until that extra DNA was able to be injected into them, it was him sustaining all of the offspring and himself. So now, she realizes this is how she becomes the Mother Queen. She becomes mother to all of these alien entities, and through that, the monarch, the new queen of this new alien creation. I don't know how to say this, so here we go. The machine communicates to Beauty and the Beast that, hey, remember that holiday you're meant to go away for just 2 weeks that you actually took 6? Yeah, it drained a lot of energy from the Beast, so we can't do much for your body, but we can kind of preserve your mind for a bit longer so you can stick around to help raise your little alien offspring. So Beauty and the Beast go, oh, okay, I guess we'll take that option. So with what energy they have left, the tentacle kind of puppeteering the lady as she kind of commands it to do what it can. Of course, the beast doing the similar thing, turning into little puppets. As their offspring is rolling or crawling towards them, they see them, they go embrace them and kind of give them little cuddles like, oh, hello, little you, hello, that. And then finally, the penny drops for Belle. She goes, oh, that's what you were asking for the past 2 and a bit years. Mother Queen, would you be a mother to his offspring and therefore be the queen to this new alien species? Huh, penny dropped. He's got to work on his communication skills, I'll tell you what. With the Beauty and the Beast knowing that they won't have their bodies much, they'd opt for being statues. So they hug as many and work on communicating with their new alien offspring as much as possible, and then they become statues in a loving embrace where their bodies will stay there, but they're still able to communicate for another certain period of time to their lovely, tentacly, ethereally offspring. Let's go back to Terra. Space station. Security has locked up the dad and the 3 sons, going, you silly. You should not steal alien technology when we're trying to look after it. You silly. Lock yourselves up. Excuse me, we'll lock you up. The scientists and researchers and all security go, we know where they're going. That glove, of course she's going to go back to that home alien planet. So they started a stream to see what's happening in the camera from the home base that was there. They've just seen everything that happened on the alien planet, and they are freaking out. From their perspective, it is an alien planet much too close for us that has just burst forth this new species. They don't know anything about them. We do know, the humans know that they've got much better technology than what they've got. They're freaking out. I'm freaking out telling the story. What? Oh my gosh. They're tripping. You got the government or governmental officials going, we need to get onto this. They're only 3 days away by our speed, but they can get here a lot quicker. We don't really know their capabilities. We don't know their intentions. Let's get them before they get us. Starting a plan for planetary defense and getting suited up, getting geared up to go attack. You look back to the cell and you see the brothers and the father going, oh no, they've become so powerless. They can no longer help their daughter. And the dad is now filled with more grief and anguish, stuck in a cell with no way to help his daughter. The end. Oh, that's sci-fi for you, darlings. I've got some more notes here on other things that I think would be fun to integrate, but would take more time and someone more skilled than I to weave it into a story like this. Because I did note earlier on in this Beauty and the Beast story that Father's passing by the planet and, oh, it breaks down there. Could that be because the alien entity was looking for another life form and said, "Ha, come hither, come hither"? Haven't figured that out. Like a space Venus flytrap. Ooh. I think that exploring the guilt, sorrow, and despair of the father would be very worthwhile. I mean, he did something unintentionally, trying to better his family, but he loses his child and potentially ruins humanity in the process. Whew. It's gotta be a lot for an individual. Yippity. Now, if anyone was listening there and you heard a screamer, yeah, I would make this family part Pinoy because it would make more sense for that, in my opinion. I don't think Westerners would really say the whole family's living under one roof. That's kind of crazy and working together. But family is paramount in Filipino culture, so it kind of would make sense. So we're going through hard times. Let's live together. Let's pool the resources, and we get to hang out and all that. So it would make more sense and kind of put the ties a lot tighter than it would any other family. Going along that same line of the Filipino culture, I got told this one story that I think would be an interesting parallel with the father in the story. Just a little bit. I was told this when I was younger, so I'm just recalling it from memory. My mother told me that there's one piece of land that's owned by one of our family members that no one's touching. And we're not gonna touch. And I go, well, that seems a bit wasteful, don't you think? And this is the story she told me. Nana told me that one of the uncles went there and said, we're gonna explore the area, we're gonna clear some trees, wood, whatever, furniture. Going there, they dig around and they find a little treasure box. They open it up and go, oh, it's something from World War II when the Japanese were in the Philippines. He goes, great, we can make some money with this. Picks it up, takes up some other things, and that box had something treasury in it. I don't know exactly what, but it had treasure in it. So Uncle took it back, cleaned it up, put it in his box, and goes, we're going to sell it. We're going to make some money. Uncle goes to sleep. That night he has a dream. And he dreams that a Japanese soldier is coming up to him. He's not speaking the language he understands, but he knows what he's saying. The Japanese soldier tells him, hey, you've taken a treasure of mine, so I will take something of yours. The next morning, Uncle wakes up, hanging out with the family, finds out that one of his sons died in his sleep last night. Uncle is horrified. I can't recall what happened, but I'm 95% sure they took that box and buried it back where they found it and left it. The father goes to a planet, takes something that wasn't his, has those whispers, we want you. Took something, didn't say tabi tabi po either. He just goes there, research, no tabi tabi po. Goes back. So since he took a treasure from one planet, the planet took a treasure of his, which was his youngest daughter. Well, thank you for watching and listening to my sci-fi spin on Beauty and the Beast. I hope you enjoyed yourself, because I certainly did. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye-bye!